Hello and Grüß Gott. On this video we're going to be doing some code checking on a 2004 Subaru Outback with an 8.6 engine. This particular vehicle right now is throwing a couple of codes. One is an engine fault light code and the other is ABS. So we're going to check into both of those and I'll show you here in a second how to connect it up. Okay, so you're going to take your CAN OBD Scan Tool and you're going to plug it in over here on the driver's side, left side, right under where the hood latch release is, and it plugs in there and you have the ignition off. So what we're going to do is turn the ignition on but not start the engine, and then we're going to read the codes. So we're going to do that and we'll be right back. Once you plug in this device and then you turn your ignition to the on but not start position all the way to the ignition on, you're going to push enter and it's going to go through all of the it's going to make a handshake with the vehicle, and then it's going to read all the faults, and right now it shows one fault code. So we'll read that code, we'll write it down and go look it up, and so then we'll tell you what that is. So the fault code we read was an 0400, which is an EGR valve issue, or just exhaust gas recirculation issue. We don't yet know what it is, but some of the possibilities, and the most likely possibility, is that the EGR solenoid has failed, so we're going to try to ohm it out. But at the same time, we'll look at some of the rubber piping that supposedly goes to it. I haven't seen it, so I'll look and see if that needs to be replaced, and if so, I'll do that. And so right now I'm going to use a 10mm socket, 6-point socket, and remove this cover, and we'll see what we can find. So I'll be right back. At this point we've pulled off the cover and we're looking around inside here, and we found something interesting. We found a fray in the wiring harness. So to get to that, we're going to have to pull this box out. So I've unplugged what I think is the mass flow sensor here, and we've taken the two bolts out. These are 10mm, and we've taken this loose. I'm going to try to pull this box off, and I'll have to take it off loose here as well, I can see. And we'll take that out, and that'll give us a chance to get underneath and see what's going on, and then we'll come back and tell you what we found. Okay, so at this point we've taken off the intake plenum, and we're now able to see this wiring harness that we noticed was damaged, and this may very well be the reason that we're having EGR fault codes. We definitely have at least one cut or broken wire and then one frayed wire. So I'm going to make a repair to this harness, and I'll show you how that's going to look when I'm done. Also wanted to make note that each plug I pulled off to get this thing loose, I marked with marks such that we can go back and find the appropriate connector that it goes to. So we're going to repair it and I'll be right back. At this point what I've done is I've spliced wires and I have put heat shrink on them where I could. Really difficult to work in here on this particular application. And then I took some very high temperature RTV, room temperature vulcanized material, and put it on here. And now I'm going to wrap it with cloth tape. This is good for high temperature, not real high temperature, but it's good old Volkswagen cloth tape. So it should be able to sustain the temperatures that we're going to see in this part of the engine compartment. And we'll put it back together and we'll see what happens. At this point we've put everything back together. Wire's all been taped up, the whole harness, with cloth tape. And we actually put a wire tie on it also to further secure it. Everything's been put all back, so now at this point we're ready to go ahead and start the engine and see if it runs. So I'll be right back once we get into the car and we'll see if it starts. Well, at least it started. That's good. So we'll give it a test drive and see if that fixed or did not fix the EGR problem, and we'll write that into the description and let you know how that worked out. So be watching for further videos on possibly this Subaru. We have a couple more things we want to do on it. And that's all there is. Thanks for watching. Tschüss.